Hello, I'm Gary from Countryside Farms, and I wanted to introduce you to some of the new features we have on our 2012 units. This is a 15 shank ammonia bar. We've got a lot of new things on there. I'd like to take time and show you on this thing. Okay, we're going to show you the hitch and how that thing works, and it pulls out and swings. Comes out about 15 inches. And swing sideways. You got a good couple foot of swing there. Once you get hooked up, you just back up, latches back in place. So that kind of answers some questions a lot of guys have on the hitches. Come over here. We've got some new little brackets we designed over the last year, put on the shanks to keep the hoses in place. We've got the single and the double because you got to have your vapor hose going down through there. And them been really nice for keeping the hoses out of these disc sealer arms. They actually go up a long ways. You have to get in a big rock. We also got the toolbox, the water tank with a little emergency spigot right here. So you can open that. You got to have water out in the field. The parking plug for when you unhook your wagons, you can hook your hose up there just to kind of keep it from dragging on the ground. All these hose holders we designed 3-4 years ago to keep all these hoses out of the hinge points and keep them in place. This works really nice when it folds over. It just keeps those hoses from pinching. They work really well. I was going to show you how the disc sealers turn. People wonder how much these things actually turn, but you can actually turn those quite a ways. I mean, they can really be aggressive. Normally we set them about in here. They move up and down long ways. You got all kinds of movement. They can move forward, backwards, space them in and out. We also added some little rubber plastic bumper guards on the bottom of these sealer arms and the top so they don't bang the paint off of them. These little brackets right here are put on each wing to keep the hoses out of the way so when it folds over and goes against the wing support, so we don't crush any hoses. Got the complete light package, reflector package on it. I wanted to show you these right here. These shank mounts are a double coil spring, and they're really pretty strong. They take a lot of abuse, and they keep that knife down in the ground. You can kind of see down in there where that double spring is down in there. Our colders are 20-inch slicer blades. They got an extra heavy-duty coil spring on that. Keep those colders down in the ground. They work really well that way, and that really helps cut a nice slot for that shank to work in to makes that machine pull a lot easier, and it also helps it seal a little better. Of course, this is pretty self-explanatory. Our cylinder mounts and stuff, it's slotted so them wings can kind of come up and down. We've also got jam bolts down underneath here so that you can carry your wings level if you want, or you can run them in, and that cylinder slot there will let them wings follow the contour of the ground. When the wing comes over, it comes over and sets, these black irons right here come over and set on this gold plate, along with it resting on that wing support back there. Each machine comes with 2 jack stands, and you can leave it folded up for storage. You can leave it folded when you're putting it in the barn when you're done at the end of the year. It's real stable. We got a little bracket here for your electrical and your hoses. They hang here. Also, this is something we changed this year. These little hose brackets here. It's always kind of a mess winding all this hose up around here and trying to get it so it's not tangled up. So we've got these hose brackets in different places on here, and you can actually take this and pop your hose out. So if you need to change hoses, you can actually get your hoses out of them loops. go back in with them. So just something there to kind of keep things in place. The big hose here, it goes back to the wagon. We put a bracket up here to kind of keep that thing from catching and rubbing on everything. The Ravens controller, pretty self-explanatory. It's a really nice unit. We also put this, it's got an emergency shut-off valve over here, and we put on every machine, we got a rope pull on that thing so that you can run that rope up to the cab of your tractor and tie that thing off. So if you have any kind of electrical problem, all you gotta do is pull on that rope. That automatically shuts the ammonia off to this machine, even though the wagon's still turned on. So that's pretty important as far as a safety and a liability standpoint. Kind of wanted to maybe take a little zoom in on all these hinge areas and some of this kind of stuff. You can see some of the heft of it. You get a good idea how this thing is pretty heavy. The other thing we got on all the machines are the truss rods. They come from the center point up here. There's a truss rod on each side. They come down and to keep that bar stabilized in the main frame. We also got D-rings welded on it on the top for lifting, but also there's 4 D-rings on the bottom of the frame. There's 2 on the main and 2 on the, and 1 on each wing. So if you got to haul them, you can run a chain through there, so you don't have to throw a chain over top the frame. Gauge wheels are pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of different positions to run those in. They can run up quite a little ways. It's a real nice implement tire on there. They're good quality tires. I think we got a lot of really nice features on this to keep the hoses and stuff in place. Very seldom you ever tear a hose off of one of our machines. They're just all tied in good shape so they don't get caught on things. Our light package, when this wing folds over, this orange light, you can see it from front to back because this wing kind of comes up out of the way. So you got your orange flasher light here, plus you got one on the back here. So you got 4 flasher lights, turn signals on each side. But with that light being back here, it kind of protects it from tree branches and stuff as things pass over it. We very seldom have any problem tearing lights and things off. They're a real well-made weather pack fittings on the harnesses. Got the swing arm over here with a quick coupler on it. And of course, that's where your hose hooks go into your wagon. We got this little bracket bolt with a loop on it here again to keep that hose centered so it doesn't catch on anything. So as this thing is swinging, that hose stays in place, doesn't get caught on anything. There again, this is that rope pull, that emergency rope pull. Your emergency valve. This will be in the open position. You got it hooked to the tractor. If you have any kind of a problem, you pull on that rope and it'll pull that valve right shut, and that just shuts the whole system off. Of course, these here, light blue hoses, they're the ones that run to each shank. They're your vapor hoses for that Ravens cooler. They've got to be run. Another little thing we got, I don't know if we can see it. We got a, I don't know if you can get over here, but we got a T-fitting up in here for your split application, and we put these quarter turn valves on all of them. So that, I don't know if you could see that, but that little quarter turn valve, if you want to pre-plant, you could turn them half rates off and just reset your monitor, and then when you go back to side dressing, you just turn that valve back on. Turn that valve back on so you don't have to disconnect no hoses or anything. You can either run that extra half shot or you don't have to run the half shot. So we tried to think of all the things you would want on there to kind of make it simple and easy. One more thing I thought about is these little clip pins right here. You can pull these clip pins off. You can pull this thing right off, and you can pull your sealer arms right off and get them right here and where you can get into work on things. A lot of times you don't have a special wrench with you in the field, and you need to get that stuff off of there so you can get at it and try to get things simple, because time is money. So as far as I can tell, I think we covered pretty much everything on our 15 shank 2012 model machine. Thank you.
Thanks.